Hi, everybody. It's America's Next Top Social Worker, Greg. Welcome to my infomercial about second year placements. I'm going to keep this super brief and really just try to reassure you about what's in store ahead for the second year placement process. There's lots of good news about the second year placement process. So the three key bullet points are one, there's plenty of time for you to think about which placements are best for you, to select four to interview at. We will let you interview at two or three of them, and you'll have 5 weeks to do that. And then you can reevaluate which one is the one that's the best for you. And of course, as long as you're accepted, you'll be able to go there. So there's plenty of time. Time is on your side. You'll get a lot more information and can be really engaged more thoughtfully in the process. So that's one advantage. The other advantage is that there are way more placements available. So in terms of laws of supply and demand, way more great placements than there are great students to fill them. So there's plenty to go around. We don't have the same degree of scarcity problem that we have in the first year placement process. And also to say that many of the second year placements are just really complex and interesting, and you can go a lot further with your practice than in the first year placement selection. So those are two great points. And the third point, which is probably the best of all, is you really get to choose. In the first year, we interview you, we consider your input, but at the day's end, we arrange for you to be placed, and you just simply go out to interview and confirm that. This is really different. So the field team, we totally want you to have information, we want to talk with you, we want to advise you, but at the end of the day, it's absolutely your choice. As long as your placement is approved for your concentration area, and as long as you've interviewed and been accepted there, you can choose it, and that's great for you to really have an elective offering for your second year field placement. Okay? So those are the things I want to reassure you about. I'm going to ask you to follow along. I have a tan memorandum that was in your box, and also a green PowerPoint that was in your box. So a couple other things I want to say about the second year placement process. Second year placements start in September, and they're 3 days a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They start right after Labor Day, and they go till the end of April, so they're 90 days in total. Also to let you know that they do allow you, if you're a management and planning student, to do 20% of your placement time doing direct practice, and conversely, if you're a direct practice student, you could do 20% of your internship time doing a management and planning project. So that's great as well. In terms of placement satisfaction, 70% of our second year students rate their second year placement as excellent, and 23% rate their second year placement as good. So the vast majority of second year placements, second year students rather, really have a high degree of satisfaction. All right? So, so what do you need to know at this point? So in the TAN memo that's in your box, there's a kind of an overview that I've just provided you with. There really are 4 steps that you need to pay attention to, and they're made very clear to you. And I'm going to briefly summarize them. The first step is for you to really go back and reappraise your interests, your needs, and your goals, and to think very broadly about really what would be best for you in your second year. We ask you to meet with your home field consultant, the consultant who leads your field seminar, for at least 30 minutes, and for as long as you need beyond that, to really just have a broad, wide-angle conversation about you and what you want and what you need. The second step, step 2, is to search our internship placement tracking system, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second video that will appear, and to really be able to identify by February 14th 4 placements that you're most interested in, that you most want to interview at. And so that will involve you searching the website, talking to other students, and talking to a wide variety of consultants, not just your home consultant, but other consultants who may have information about placements that interest you. After February 14th, step 3 involves you applying. So we'll authorize you to interview and apply to 2 or 3 internships. You can send your resumes along, any other supporting materials, an interview. That will take place throughout the month of March, as well as into just early April. And then the final step of the process is simply just re-ranking post-interview where you most want to be. And of course, we, the consulting team, will make sure that you're accepted and confirm things like that. And so most students will have a placement identified for them by April 9th or 10th, somewhere thereabouts. So the only other thing I want to talk to you about is just in the handout there are some key questions for you to answer before you see your home consultant. There's 5 in fact. And it's also helpful if you get onto our IPT website, if you start to actually list out some of the placements you're most interested in and why. So I just want to ask you to pay attention to these. And then the last thing I want to say is just how do we assign interviews? I really want to make sure that you understand how we do that. It's actually pretty simple. For every 1 available internship, and I'll show you on IPT how you'll determine what number is available, we'll send 2 UC Berkeley MSW students. All right, so if there's only 1 opening, we will only send 2 students. And that means if 4 students want to interview there, we'll look at the 2 students who ranked it highest. So if 2 students ranked it as their first choice, they'll get the interview. If, let's say, 3 or 4 students ranked it as their first choice, then what we do is we first call the agency and see if they would consider expanding their slots due to a high level of interest. If they're not willing to do that, then we literally will draw 2 names from a hat, and that's simply how it works. We don't choose between our students. We just go to randomization. And as long as this internship that you'd like to interview at is approved for your concentration area, you have just as good of a chance of being able to interview at it as anyone else in the school, particularly as long as you rank at number 1 or 2 or just higher up. So I will conclude this information session now by saying please talk to your home consultant, please start to work on this, and we're here to support you and to help you throughout the process. Thanks for listening.